Forest, mushrooms, clear air, autumn. A trip to the forest for honey mushrooms and porcini is one of the wonderful adventures of autumn. A wonderful walk with which you can also bring products for pickling and salting, or just frying mushrooms and potatoes is also good. But mushrooms are not the easiest thing, especially if you are a beginner mushroom hunter. They need to be picked correctly, sorted correctly, and cooked to make a tasty, and most importantly, safety dish. We'll tell you where newbies to mushrooms can make mistakes, even if they have perfectly learned all the mushrooms and can accurately distinguish fly agarics and toadstools from good mushrooms. Mistake number 1. The mushroom hunter makes only one fail. It sounds ominous, but it could be so, because the poison of the toadstool kills pretty quickly. Therefore, if you are in doubt about mushrooms, do not take them. It's better not to touch unfamiliar mushrooms with your hands, not to cut them with a knife, not to put them in your basket, just in case. What if it's normal? I'll sort it out at home. The poison can get on other mushrooms nearby. The mushroom can break and part of it will mix with the fragments of other good mushrooms, and you won't even notice. So, if you're not sure, don't take it. Let it grow. Number 2. Picking mushrooms in the wrong place. Mushrooms absorb all substances very well. They are not recommended to be picked near highways, in polluted places, in cities and near factories. The distance from polluted areas must be at least 500 meters. Porcini mushrooms picked in a polluted place can be as dangerous as toadstools. Number 3. Wormy mushrooms. Wormy, soft, old mushrooms can be toxic and can be infected with mold and rot. They can also be bitter, tasteless, disintegrate when cooked, and not hold their shape. Therefore, it is best to pick young mushrooms, elastic, dense and clean. Only then will you get the most delicious mushroom dishes. Number 4. Picking in a plastic bag. Mushrooms need access to air. If you put them in a plastic bag, they will release moisture, deteriorate and wrinkle very quickly. As a result, you will bring home mushroom porridge. It is also not very good to pick mushrooms in a bucket. There is also no air circulation, but the bucket is hard container and the mushrooms will not wrinkle as much as in a plastic bag. So it's no wonder that a mushroom hunter's best friend is a light, convenient basket. Number 5. Leave mushrooms until tomorrow. The mushrooms must be sorted and boiled the same day they were brought from the forest. If the mushrooms are very good and strong, they can be sorted and boiled the next morning. Mushrooms spoil very quickly. Worms do not sleep in them either. Even if you pick the cleanest mushrooms, some resident will still slip through somewhere, will lay larvae and infect the brown birch bolete or orange bolete closest to him. Even if you are not embarrassed by the appearance of a wormy mushroom and you are not squeamish, remember, the worm is not as dangerous as its waste products, and wormy mushrooms are noticeably bitter. Number 6. Wash the mushrooms when you don't need to. It's a difficult question. The fact is that mushrooms absorb water strongly, and then, if you want to fry them, they will give it away and will be stewed rather than fried. It will turn out to be mushroom porridge. But if you did not pick mushrooms in an ecologically clean, reliable forest, then it is better to wash them. If your place is safe, you carefully pick the mushrooms and intend to eat them immediately and not salt or pickle them. Then you can simply peel off the leaves and twigs, cut off the bottom of the legs so that the soil does not get in. And if you are going to dry mushrooms, then you definitely can't wash them. Simply clean them of forest debris with a brush and wipe with a damp cloth, if necessary. Number 7. Forgetting about the soil. It is better to pick mushrooms so that there is no soil left on them. Bacterium that produce dangerous botulinum toxins can live in it. They multiply and cause a very serious, fatal disease, botulism. Therefore, if you want to cook a salad from fresh golden chanterelles or from saffron milk caps, the mushrooms should be thoroughly cleaned, rinsed well, and doused with boiling water. Number 8. Cooking with a tubular hymenophore. If the mushroom has already opened sufficiently, then its hymenophore becomes soft, but the stem and cap can be quite strong. If it is a porcini mushroom or brown birch bolete, for example, when boiled and fried, such a tubular hymenophore turns into snort. It is better to cut it off before cooking. The soft tubular hymenophore can also be infected with worms and larvae. Number 9. Not soaking. It is better to soak some mushrooms before cooking. This applies to those that produce white milky juice when cut, commonly known as milk caps. This milky juice is very bitter. Soaking is necessary to make the mushrooms tasty and sweet. The milk caps are usually salted. Number 10. You don't do pre-boil. Most mushrooms require at least a short boil before cooking or frying. Usually only porcinis, chanterelles or champignons are fried without pre-boiling. But even experienced mushroom hunters neglect this and fry edible mushrooms without pre-boiling. This way the taste of the mushroom is fully revealed. However, do not forget that this method of cooking mushrooms can cause diarrhea due to individual intolerance to a particular mushroom. Number 11. Fry in a small frying pan. In the frying pan the mushrooms will release juice, and if they are too crowded, they will not be fried, but stewed. And it won't turn out to be quite the dish you are hoping for. For example, if you want to make fried mushrooms with potatoes, you won't get a golden crust in a small frying pan. More space is needed for this result. Number 12. You putting mushrooms in a cold frying pan. If you do this, the mushrooms will release a lot of juice and will not turn out crispy and springy. The frying pan needs to be preheated. Heat the oil and only then fry the mushrooms in it. Then all the juice and aroma will be preserved inside. Number 13. You add salt at the beginning of cooking. Mushrooms, like many vegetables, release juice if you salt them at the beginning of cooking. Therefore, if you fry them, you need to salt the mushrooms at the end. If you cook soup, it is also better to add salt at the end. Since the broth boils away during cooking, the salt concentration will increase and the soup will be oversalted. Number 14. Ignore the foam. When boiling mushrooms, foam forms on the surface. It must be removed. Otherwise the foam will give bitterness and an unpleasant taste. Allow the mushrooms to simmer for 1 to 2 minutes over high heat. If you turn down the heat, it will be more difficult to remove the foam. That's it from me. I hope you found this little foraging and cooking guide helpful, and next time you'll pick up the cleanest mushrooms and cook the most delicious and safety dishes from them. And remember, all mushrooms are edible, but some are only edible once. So when in doubt, leave it out. Have fun out there and stay safe.